Hello po, we are on week 1, quarter 3. The title of our lesson is all about mathematical system. Our objectives: describe a mathematical system. Next, illustrates the need for an axiomatic structure of a mathematical system in general and in geometry in particular. So letter A, undefined. Letter B, defined terms. So let us break down the mathematical system. So first one, we have what we call the undefined terms, followed by defined terms. Next, axioms and postulates. And then last one is the theorems. So what is undefined terms? Undefined terms in geometry, we come across with terms which cannot be precisely defined. In modern mathematics, we do accept certain undefined terms by description. So when we say precisely, exactly. So when we say undefined terms, not exactly or not precisely. Then when we say defined terms, unlike undefined terms, these terms have a formal definition. They are used to define even more terms. When we say defined terms, it has exactly definition. So for axioms and postulates, a statement which is accepted as true without proof. These statements can be used as reasons in proving some mathematical statements. While the theorems, a theorem is a statement that can be proven. Once a theorem is proven, it can also be used as a reason in proving other statements. Okay, so let us break down each category. So for our undefined terms, it consists of point, line, and a plane. While when we say defined terms, it has a collinear points, coplanar points, non-collinear and non-coplanar points, the subset of a line, and so on. Marami pa pong ibang klase ng defined terms. For axioms and postulate, so it has axioms, different axioms, and different postulates, as well as the theorems. It has different theorems to be discussed in our next meeting. So for today, we're going to discuss the undefined terms and the defined terms. For next meeting, we're going to discuss the axioms, postulates, and the theorems. So let us proceed to our first activity. Tell whether each of the following represent a point, a line, or a plane. So all you have to do is to classify each picture as point, line, or plane. So for the first picture, we have the sesame seed. Ano kaya siya? Point, line, or plane. For second picture, we have the board. Third, edge of a table. Fourth, tip of a pen. And then pencil, ano kaya sila? Identify po natin whether it is a point, a line, or a plane. So on a piece of paper, all you have to do is to write your answer and then send it to our Google Classroom. Okay, so let us start with our undefined terms. So first, what is undefined terms again? In geometry, we have several undefined terms like point, line, and plane. So what is a point? When we say point, it indicates a location and has no size. So how to name it? So you can represent a point by a dot and name it by a capital letter such as A. So for example, our diagram, we have here A and then point. So it is named as letter A only. Okay po. Next, how about the line? So when we say line, it represented by a straight path that extends in two opposite directions without end and has no thickness. A line contains infinitely many points. So when we say line, what direction niya is nag-extend. Meron siyang arrow. So extended siya. So therefore, it contains infinitely many points. So how to name it? You can name a line by any 2 points on the line such as AB. Read as line AB. Or BA by a single lowercase letter such as line L. So, sabi daw po, we can name a line using any 2 points. So, dapat po capital letter ang pagsusulat. For example, meron tayong lines with lots of points. Pili ka lang doon ng 2 letter, pwede na siyang pangalan as line. And then, pwede rin po natin siya pangalanan as lowercase if given. So, pwede natin siya pangalanan as line L. Pero dapat naka-lowercase pag isang letter lang. Just like this one. So, we have here line AB. So, as we can see, si point A at saka si point B, sila yung nasa iisang line. So, therefore, ginamit sila para pangalanan yung ating line. We have line AB. Or we can use the small letter L, which is line L. Next, after the line is what we call the plane. So, a plane is represented by a flat surface that extends without end and has no thickness. A plane contains infinitely many lines. So, you can name a plane by a capital letter such as plane P or by at least 3 points in the plane that do not all lie on the same line such as plane A, B, C. So, our diagram. So, as we can see, we have 3 points. Points A, B, and C. So, we can use these 3 points to name our plane. So, we have plane A, B, C. Or simply, let us name our plane as plane P. Kasi given naman yung name niya sa gilid, which is P. Okay po. So, we're done with the undefined terms. This time, let us proceed to defined terms. Naman po tayo. First one is the collinear points. What is collinear points? It is a points or points that lie on the same line. So, when we say collinear, from the root word line. Kaya po, lahat daw po ng points na naglalay on the same line. When we say non-collinear points, it is the opposite of collinear points. So, are points that do not lie on the same line. So, for example, we have here yung orange line natin with points A, B, and C. Next po, another diagram. We have here orange line with points A, B, and then si C, wala siya dun sa line. So, we can say that points A, B, and C are collinear points. And then sa second line natin, points A, B, and C are non-collinear points. Kasi si C, wala naman siya dun sa line. Okay po. So, remember po the difference between the collinear points and non-collinear points. Next, another defined terms is what we call the coplanar points and the non-coplanar points. So, when we say coplanar points are points that lie on the same plane. While non-coplanar points, it is the opposite of the coplanar. They are defined as points that do not lie on the same plane. So, kanina, when we say collinear, lie on the same line. When we say coplanar, lie on the same plane. So, example, so meron tayong dalawang plane. So, sa first plane natin, we have points A, B, C. Lahat sila nasa loob ng plane. While dun sa second plane natin, sa non-coplanar, si A at si B lang yung nasa loob ng plane. Si C nasa labas. Okay po. So, therefore, we can say that points A, B, and C are coplanar points dun sa una nating plane. Sa second plane natin, points A, B, and C are non-coplanar points kasi nga po, si C nasa labas, wala siya sa loob. Okay, so I hope you differentiate the coplanar and non-coplanar points. Next pong defined terms. Next is the subsets of a line. Again po, when we say line, both direction extends. Ano po, meron siyang dalawang arrow when we say line. So, may iba't ibang klase daw po ng line. First one is the line segment. Ano ba yung pinagkaiba ng line segment sa line lang? When we say line segment, it is a part of a line consisting 2 endpoints. Di ba kanina sabi natin, when we say line, extended siya, both direction, infinitely, yung kanyang points. While when we say line segment, hindi siya infinitely, meron siyang 2 endpoints, which is point A and then point B. So, we can read this as segment AB. So, in symbol, We have AB, nilagyan ng guhit sa taas, which represent a line segment. Next po, another subset of a line is what we call the ray. Ano ba yung ray natin? So, ray is a part of a line with only one endpoint and extending in only one direction. So, kanina, yung line segment natin, 2 endpoints. Si ray naman po, 1 endpoint and then yung isa extended, just like this one. So, we have ray AB. As we can see, si A, endpoint siya. While si B, extended pa rin yung kanyang arrow o yung sa side niya. So, the ray can be named as AB. Tapos may ray na drawing sa taas, read as ray AB. Ayun po ang difference ng line segment and ray. Okay po. So next, let us proceed to another set of defined terms. Medyo marami-rami pa po ito. So first one is the definition of parallel lines. When we say parallel lines in a plane, so lines in a plane that do not intersect. When we say parallel lines, they are two lines that never met. They never intersect, they never cross. So, example, in our diagram, we have line M and line N. Again, when we say line, extended sila. So, kahit humaba pa ng humaba si M at humaba ng humaba si N, hindi sila magtatagpo, hindi sila magmemet, hindi sila magkocross. Ayun po yung parallel lines. So, how to name it? So, just simply write M parallel to N. So, the symbol for parallel line is yung dalawang guhit na nakatayo. Ayun po yung parallel. Okay, next is the definition of perpendicular. So when we say perpendicular, they are two lines are said to be perpendicular lines if they intersect and form right angles. Kanina si parallel lines, hindi sila nag-i-intersect. While when we say perpendicular lines, they intersect. Ano po, nagtagpo sila, nag-cross sila. And then aside from nagtagpo sila and nag-cross sila, nag-form pa sila ng right angles. So right angle is what we call a 90-degree angle. Ano po? So in our example, it is written as line WY is perpendicular to line XZ. So the symbol for line, yung nasa taas natin, dalawang guhit. And then the symbol for guhit and then dalawang arrow. And then the symbol for perpendicular is the inverted T. Binaliktad na T, ayun po yung symbol natin sa perpendicular. Next po, after the definition of perpendicular is the definition of midpoint. When we say midpoint, it is a point on a line segment that divides it into two equal parts. When we say mid, nasa gitna po siya, no? So, midpoint, nasa gitnang point. So, example po, we have segment AC or line segment AC with a midpoint B. Hinati daw po ni B si segment AC into two equal parts. So, if B is the midpoint of AC, then, kung si B daw po ay midpoint ni AC, we can say that BA is equal to BC. Or, segment BA is congruent to segment BC. Ano po? So, kasi kanina buo siya si AC. Hinati siya ni point B. So, therefore, yung dalawa, equal sila or what we call congruent. Si BA, pwede natin siyang baliktarin yung letter. Pwedeng maging AB. Ano po? Si BC, pwede rin baliktarin maging CB. Pero remember po, pag binaliktad mo sa left side, dapat baliktarin mo rin sa right side. BA is equal to BC. Pag binaliktad mo, it can be AB is equal to CB. Dapat babaligtarin din po. Ano po? Okay, next defined term is what we call the definition of angle. What is a angle? What is an angle? An angle is the figure formed by two rays with a common point. Sabi daw po natin, when we say ray, yung isa ay may endpoint, yung isa ay extended. Pag daw po angle natin, dalawang ray siya with common point daw po. So, just like this one. So, we have here ray AB at saka si ray CB. Ano po, ang common point nila is point B. So, dahil may common point sila, naka-form sila ng angle. So, we can say or we can write it as angle ABC. Or pwede rin pong baliktad, angle CBA. Okay po. Next. Another set of defined terms. First one is the definition of right angle. A right angle is an angle whose measure is 90 degree. So in diagram, we have here right angle KAP. So yung symbol po na nasa letter A, yung parang half box, ayun po yung symbol ng right angle. So we can name this as angle KAP is a right angle. Ma'am, pwede po ba mabaliktad yung letter? Yes po. It can be written as angle PAK. Ano po? As long as yung nasa gitna pa rin siya. Okay po. Next, how about the definition of vertical angle? So, vertical angles are two angles in which the sides of one angle are opposite rays to the side of the other angles. So, when we say vertical angle, opposite daw po sila, just like this one. So, we have here line HF and line ED intersect at point G. Alin daw po dyan yung vertical angle? Sabi kanina, when we say vertical angle, opposite daw po nila. So, itong angle na to, ang ka-opposite niya, yung kaharap niya, this one. So, we have here, we can say that angle HGE and angle FGD are vertical angles. Yun daw po, vertical angle sila. So, another vertical angles in the given figure, yun namang nasa taas. Ito daw po, ang ka-vertical angle naman niya is yung nasa baba. So, angle HGD and angle FGE are vertical angles din po. Ano po? Okay. Next, after the vertical angle is the definition of adjacent angles. So, if two angles like A and B have a common vertex and a common side, then they are called adjacent angles. When we say adjacent, magkadikit sila na angle, just like this one. So, if you have angle A and angle B, so they have the common side and then the common vertex. So, in short, magkadikit na angle sila. Ano po? So, we can write it as angle A and angle B are adjacent angles. Next po is the definition of linear pair. What is linear pair? So, two adjacent angles like A and B have their non-common sides forming a straight line. So, when we say linear pair, para din pala siyang adjacent angles. Ano po? Meron silang common side, common vertex, pero yung non-common side nila ay straight line, just like this one. So, we have here angle A and angle B. Adjacent pa rin sila, pero meron silang straight line na na-form. Okay po, so we can name it or we can write it as angle A and angle B are linear pair. Okay po. So, next, another set of defined terms. So, we have here the definition of supplementary angles. So, when we say supplementary, the sum of the measure of two angles is 180 degree. So, in diagram, we have here angle 1, 80 degree, angle 2, 100 degree. Sabi daw po, when we say supplementary, if we add them, the equal is 180 degree. Or the sum is 180 degree. So, 80 plus 100, they are equal to 180 degree. So, we have here measurement of angle 1 plus measurement of angle 2 is equal to 180 degree. So, we can write this as angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary angles. Next po, aside from definition of supplementary angles, we have also the definition of complementary angles. So, when we say complementary, the sum of the measures of two angles is 90 degree. Kanina, when we say supplementary, 180 degree. This time po, when we say complementary, it is 90 degree. So, for our diagram, we have here angle A, 20 degree. Angle B, 70 degree. So, if we add them, the answer is 90 degree. Ganun daw po ang complementary natin. So, measurement of angle A plus measurement of angle B is equal to 90 degree. So, we can write this as angle A and angle B are complementary angles. Sana po ay alam ang difference ng supplementary and complementary. Okay po. So, next, how about the definition of angle bisector? So, it is a ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. So, when we say bisector, it divides it into two equal parts. When we say angle, so angle bisector, hinati daw po niya yung angle sa two equal parts. So, for our diagram, we have angle AOC. Si AOC, hinati siya ng ray OB. Sabi dito, if ray OB is an angle bisector, then kung hinati niya daw po yung AOC, we can say that measurement of angle AOB is equal to the measurement of angle COB. Ano po, when you say angle bisector, hinahati niya yung angle sa two equal parts. Next po, definition of segment bisector is a point, a line, or a segment that divides the segment into two congruent parts. So, kanina, angle bisector, hinati niya yung angle sa two equal parts. This time po, hahatiin naman niya yung segment sa two equal parts. So, diagram natin. We have here, if ray KM bisect ray LN, or what we say, mali yung symbol ito ni ma'am, dapat dun ay segment LN, or pwede ring line LN, then we can say that LM is equal to NM. Okay po. So, dahil hinati daw po, dahil siya ay segment bisector, hinati siya ni ray KM, ibig sabihin po, yung dalawang parts ay equal. Okay po. So, I hope na alam ang difference ni angle bisector and segment bisector. Pag angle bisector, ang hinahati niya angle. Pag segment bisector, ang hinahati niya segment. Okay po. So, this time po, let us have your practice. Okay po, so ni-record to ni ma'am since medyo marami-rami yung definition of terms natin ng undefined at defined terms. Ano po, medyo mahirap tandaan lahat agad-agad. So, therefore, ni-record po ito ni ma'am para anytime pwede nyo pong balik-balikan, pwede nyong i-post, or pwede nyo pong kopyahin. Ano po, para mas mabilis, para hindi na kayo paulit-ulit, tingin ng tingin sa video, at saka para po for future use. Ano po? So, this time po, let us have your practice. Kanina, meron tayong activity number 1. Sabi ko, isulat sa piece of paper. And then, sa baba po nun, isusulat din po yung answer sa let's practice. So, write true if the statement is correct and false if not. So, true or false lang po ang gagawin. Ano po? So, pagtapos na po, isesend po sa ating Google Classroom. Okay po. So, this is all for today. Thank you for listening.